The Neptunia series is currently, and very well could forever be, my #1 favorite game franchise. So it kinda goes without saying, even though I'm about to say it, that I know quite a bit about it. The main things this series is known for are fan service, specifically for the purpose of making fun of the practice, fourth wall breaking, and the topic of this video, references as far as the eye can see. So I thought I would go over some of these references, and explain them to newcomers of the series. These references do not spoil anything in the games, and are just for fun and laughs. This video will only cover the main cast and the main supporting cast. I may do a video later on doing this again, but for the characters that only show up in like a few titles. So if that's something you guys want to see, go ahead and let me know in the comments. So let's begin. First is Neptune, who is technically the main character in most of the games. No, her name is not referencing the planet, but I can't fault you for thinking that, because her reference doesn't actually exist. Sega, yeah, the company that made Sonic one of the most popular characters in the world, had a console named the Sega Saturn. I think you can see where I'm going here. They were going to make a console after that, called the Sega Neptune. They ended up making the Dreamcast instead. Neptune's name references this never-finished console. Also, this might be a good time to mention all main characters are named after game consoles, and the rest are much easier to explain. Anyway, Neptune also sports a white and purple theme, which are going to be the colors of the console that she's based on. Also, just a little tidbit, her hair accessories are little D-pads. I freaking love those. And in one version, her hood drawstrings are USB cables. Also, another thing to note, all 8 main characters also have second forms called goddess forms. All of the goddess forms are their main color theme. So Neptune's goddess form is Purple Heart. She rules over the nation of Planptune. Yep, that is the words planet and Neptune put together. I know, super original. Next I'll do Noire. That's French for black. More originality, I see. She has 2 different versions, so that kind of changes things up a little bit. Noire's main reference is the PlayStation 3. Unlike other consoles, the PS3 was mostly known for its black color, where other consoles during that time were selling more white versions. There isn't much going on with her design, nothing that's really a reference anyway for this version. Her other version though, does have references. This version is based on both the original PlayStation and the PlayStation 2. Sorry for these pictures, I can only do this on my Vita, and I can't get the images off my Vita. So we're kinda screwed there. So you're gonna have to live with these phone pictures of my screen. On the right side of her belt, she sports 2 memory cards. And on the left, she has a pocket station. I've never heard of this thing. Apparently it was a memory card peripheral that does stuff. I don't really know. I never had one. Noire's goddess form is Blackheart, which I guess should have been obvious. And she rules over Lastation, which is also pretty obvious of what the reference is there. There is a pretty funny reference that has to do with her land, so I'm just going to put it in here anyway. In the 3rd game that was made, Hyperdimension Neptunia Victory, and I'm pretty sure it also happens in Rebirth 3, which is the one I got the pictures from. It's been a while since I've played, but I kind of remember it happening. There's a breach in the Lastation online server. This is a reference to 2011, when the PlayStation Network got hacked. Also, just like the PlayStation did, Lastation offered free games as an apology. Next up, I'll talk about Vert. Hers is a lot less obvious. She references the Xbox 360. Her color theme is white and green. As I said during Noire's part, the other consoles mainly sold more white units than black units. The Xbox 360 mostly sold white units. They did make black versions, but most people had the white versions. Which is funny because I'm currently playing Eternal Sonata on this channel on a black one. Anyway, Xbox is mostly known for their use of the color green, like at the end of all their commercials, which is why it's in Vert's color theme. Also, Vert is French for green. You can kind of see a pattern here. They're all like named French names. It's kind of weird. And you may notice that she's very busty and blonde, and references a game company that is from America, and that just about every Japanese animated media that has a Westerner literally matches Vert. That was not by accident, that was very much on purpose. You can sort of see why. She also gets very hot very easily, and I mean temperature hot, not, you know what I mean. Which is a reference to the Xbox overheating a lot. Vert's goddess form is, as you may have guessed, Greenheart, and she rules over the nation of Leanbox. I don't know why the word lean is in there, but whatever. There's like no information on that, but the box part is very clearly Xbox. And the last of the 4 goddesses, Blanc, and her color theme is white. Her name is actually spelled like the, you guessed it, French word for white. She also has 2 versions. Her main one is referencing the Wii, and the red I mentioned before is in mostly her second one, but also that the Nintendo logo is red. But the red is mostly in her second version, which is referencing the Famicom, which is the Japanese version of the NES. In these games there are a crap ton of Mario references, but one has to do specifically with her. In one of her official images, you can see on the cover of a book a star-shaped flower coming out of a green pipe. And in the background is literally the original Mario game. Blanc's goddess form is Whiteheart, and she rules over the nation of Lowee. And I'm guessing with the word "we" in there, even though it's spelled a little differently, you can kind of guess where the reference is. The next 4 characters don't seem at first like main characters, but they are. These are the little sisters of the goddesses I just talked about. Well, except for Vert, which is actually a reference as well. The reason that Vert doesn't have a little sister is because of what they reference. The sisters reference handheld consoles that are made by the companies the goddesses reference. So the reason Vert doesn't have a sister is because Microsoft hasn't made a handheld to go along with the Xbox. One thing to note here though is the sisters don't actually have much in the way of references in their design. Only the consoles they're based off of, really. And all of their colors are the same as the goddesses they're related to, and use the same color naming, but the word sister replaces the word heart. So like how Neptune is Purple Heart, where her sister is Purple Sister. The naming just goes like that with all the others. So we'll do this in the same order as the goddesses, which means first up is Neptune's sister, Nepgear. I think this one's pretty obvious. She references the Sega Game Gear. I mean, being Neptune's sister, she has to be a Sega handheld. And the word gear is literally in her name, so that's pretty obvious. She also wears one of those D-pad hair clips, like Neptune wears, except she only wears one. The fandom speculates that this is because Neptune is the older sister, so she gets 2, and Nepgear is the younger sister, so she gets 1, to show that she is the younger one. Next up is Noire's sister, Uni. She references the PSP. In fact, her name might even be a reference to it as well. We aren't 100% though, but her name is thought to have come from the first 3 letters of what the discs are called that the PSP uses. Universal Media Discs, or UMDs, with Uni being the first 3 letters of Universal. It could just be a coincidence, but I highly doubt it. The next 2 are twins and are Blanc's sisters, Rom and Ram. Yes, their names reference to computer parts. However, their main reference is the Nintendo DS. There's 2 of them because there are 2 screens on the DS. In order to tell them apart, Rom talks a lot quieter and softer and has shorter hair and is very shy, while Ram is more boisterous, has longer hair, and is the literal opposite of shy. They also have a double reference to Nintendo. Rom wears blue and Ram wears pink, which is a reference to another game called Ice Climbers, which is made by Nintendo. And in that game, the 2 player characters, Nana and Popo, also wear these 2 colors. One last reference is on their hats. Each of them have a rectangle which references the DS logo. So you put both of them together and you get the DS logo. There are 3 other characters that I do want to talk about in this video because while they aren't so much main characters like the previous ones, they're in every single game. First of these 3 is my favorite character, IF. Yes, it's the letters I and F, not the word if. Though they do make jokes about that, calling her Iffy. She references the company that created the series, Idea Factory. She only has one design reference, and that's the actual belt buckle that's buckled, not the one on her jacket, but the one around her waist. It has a lowercase I and a lowercase f, which is how Idea Factory's abbreviated logo looks. Though they use an exclamation point in the logo, but you flip it upside down and it's a lowercase I. The next one is Compa. She references a company owned by Idea Factory called Compile Heart. The letter C, as in her name, Compa, shows up as a design element on her headband and the logo on her pouch. The strap to her pouch also has a whole bunch of hearts on it. In the games, Compa and IF are childhood friends. This is likely a reference to how both companies have worked together on a ton of games. The last character for this video is Histoire, which is history in French. She doesn't have much in the way of referencing. The different versions of her know the history of the different universes within the game. And yes, I said universes. Technically, they're dimensions. Now the titles make sense, huh? I'm not getting into that though. It's way too confusing. Anyway, that'll be it for this video. If you liked it and want to see more, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified every time I upload. See ya!